Hi guys, I will now try to improve my spoken talk on this message, only. If I cannot get it on one message, it will appear. This message will appear on about 2 to 3 messages. I'm trying to put this all on one message, but if I fail, it will appear on 2 to 3 messages. Okay. This is now my newest spoken message, uh, 3rd of February 2026. I first give this new spoken message to open everybody's eyes to my miraculous healing by Jesus from my expected death after I had a car cycle crash. Secondly, this conveys two recent events which have taken plus a which have happened plus a reminder. So secondly, this conveys two recent events which have happened plus a reminder of other events. At the very bottom, I list a vast number of things that my blog has covered on these about 12 messages. Yep. Secondly, the two recent events which have now terribly enabled the soon rapture, the last 7 years to begin are these are these are the recent events that have happened to prove it's all going to happen. Hang on. First of all, there's been the AI, that's the artificial intelligence. They have strongly grown over the last few years, and the last year they've become very strong. They have an ability to know everything much more about all people in the world, and they will enable Satan to start the 666 global takeover of all people in the future. We are getting very close now to that time when the church will be taken to heaven at the start of the rapture, and the 7 years will start. And that's all getting into place. It's all started to get madly into place now, certainly with the introduction of AI and artificial intelligence, which which uh, which President Trump is using, right? So even President Trump is using AI. Global world meet, and I also want to discuss, which is what most of my message will be on, is about the very recent global world meeting in Davos, Switzerland. This re- this reporting on greater global control. So this is a reporting of the greater global control now, so that Satan will later be able to take over the new Jewish temple. We're in those days these days with AI and the global world meeting in Davos, when when the last 7 years will start very soon now, and Satan will have greater control, and we must avoid all this. This is why I give this message. We've got to get ourselves ready to avoid the satanic time coming. Free yourself from this by receiving Jesus now, please. My eyes have now been much more opened by Jesus. My eyes now have been much more opened by Jesus after reading through the details at the Davos meeting in Switzerland, and I'm now going to discuss this. The latest World Economic Forum meeting took place in Davos Clusters, Switzerland, from the 19th to the 23rd of January 2026. They opened the new Global Board of Peace. They they set up a new name. They set up this global name as the Board of Peace, with USA President Trump in charge. President Trump was in charge of this. They aim to put everything in place during 2026 this year. This may also be the rapture year. I put I put this Davos meeting together in my mind in a way that I believe God Himself is showing me. That is of how it of how it all matches the Bible in lining up to our soon rapture time. This I now reveal much clearer to you. Please note, since my massive near death accident, my eyes are now much more open to understand things more now of what is now happening. So, although I'm ill, and my speaking is not as good as I want it to be, and I'm having problems and I'm suffering, I do know that my mind is clearer than it's ever been before, and I have a clear mind now of what I'm going to speak to you about. This new Davos meeting has has probably been the most powerful, serious global meeting that has ever been accepted before. It will be used. It's going to be used now massively to change everything in the world, and it's going to start in 2026. Those included in the change will be Catholic, Vatican, Islam, Muslims, and other most powerful rich people. Now you need to get hold of them. These are the people who are causing trouble for Israel. I now present I now present what Davos discussed. I now present what Davos discussed and what the changes will be in our global world in 2026. This includes how Israel will be much more enabled to build the third temple now. I need to explain all this to you. Before I do this, I need to reveal the new appointed Board of Peace. This now controls the whole world government and is under the power of President Trump. Trump has now signed it as the controller. He's now the the Board of Peace controller. Trump is the controller of the Board of Peace. I also reveal, as I had written on my blog before, that there are a select 10 richest, very they've got a lot of money. The select 10 richest. I don't know if that word's coming out very well. Rich global people and most powerful worldwide leaders in about 7 nations. That seven nations will soon be the uh, anyway. All of these global leaders will start changing everything in 2026. They can now be greatly strengthened by AI, artificial intelligence. USA President Trump is behind these 2026 changes, including AI, and will control the new greater Board of Peace movement. Trump will also become world leader of these 10 very, very rich people and of many other leaders with global power. These will govern 7 world powers, or the 7 world governments, of the new 7 world governments. Trump has signed an agreement of setting up the new global Board of Peace, which has which now has greater global control power than the old United Nations. Remember we had the United Nations before. This is now going to this board of peace is now going to replace the United Nations, and they're going to have far more power than the United Nations ever had, which was very poor. I now explain now I now explain what the Bible tells us about the number 10. The number 10 presents completeness in human government. The 10 are a specific, powerful coalition of earthly leaders opposed to God. This is in the context of the satanic beast and the end times Antichrist system. Satan, Antichrist, will appear after the rapture and after the last 7 years begin. Here are the key aspects of the 10 in Revelation. The 10 horns of the beast, Revelation 13:1 and 17:3. Revelation 13:1 and verses 17 to 3, I think. The beast represents a global anti-God political system. The beast represents a global anti-God political system described as having 7 heads and 10 horns. In scripture, horns, the word horns symbolize power and strength. The 10 kings of Revelation 17:12. This specifically interprets these 10 horns as 10 world leaders. The king from the lot from what I've been talking to you about above, the 10 kings have now been removed. So we're now talking about world leaders. The purpose of these world leaders, Revelation 17:13, these 10 are described as having one purpose, that is, to give their power, authority, and strength to the beast. Please see Daniel 7. Please see Daniel 7, verses 7 and 24, which represent a revived final world power and a renewed Roman Catholic Vatican Empire with war against the Lamb. Revelation 17:14. These 10 world leaders will join with the beast to wage war against Jesus Christ the Lamb, but they will be defeated. Many interpret these 10 world leaders as the most powerful, richest people within the new 7 continents of the world. Many interpret these 10 world leaders as the most powerful, richest people within the new 7 continents of the world. There will be a future coalition of 10 richest and greatest leaders that form a global government during the tribulation. Davos, the meeting Davos meeting in 2026 has now put all this in place to use in 2026. This means rapture must happen first before they are able to use this control. The rapture must happen. They want to put it in control in 2026, but the rapture must happen first. That means the rapture must happen in 2026 before they can use this control. This shows us the complete maximum power of earthly Gentile nations who are opposed to Israel. They are getting more and more powerful, and they are opposed to Israel. I now explain why this world. I've now explained why the world will now allow Israel to build the third temple, even though they hate Israel. The whole Catholic and Islamic Muslim world and many other countries in 2026 want Israel to die. They want Israel to end and cease to exist. This has been made clear to all of us ever since the Second World War through the German extinction of Israel, of multitudes of Jews. So why will they now allow the Jews to become stronger in Jerusalem? What is their ultimate plan? It's not for the Jewish people to become stronger. They want to destroy them so that they can destroy they can destroy Israel. They will then have more control over Israel. So that's their ultimate plan. Since Israel became a creation again in 1948, Islam Muslims particularly have tried to destroy Israel. Up until 2026, nothing they have done to destroy Israel has succeeded. Nothing they have done to destroy Israel has succeeded. Will there now be a new plan of Israel destruction since the Davos meeting recently? What's the plan now? Is is Trump truly on the side of Israel? Trump Trump does mainly appear to be on. He does appear to be on the side of Israel, and Israel believe he is supportive of them. But is he really supportive of them? Is it all pretense? What really are his future plans through Davos? The actual hidden plan, the actual hidden plans, I believe, are to ensure the entire world Jews are living in Israel, and they are able to build the third temple safely without the threat of world war. To be able to achieve this, the hateful world need to have a reason for allowing the Jews to build the temple. So what's their reason? Maybe the reason maybe the reason that they can do this is because Trump has recently told the Islam Catholic other people in the world that once Israel are all joined together, all in one place, in one land, all together, they're not separated throughout the world, but they're all in one place, that Israel will be a much more vulnerable will be much more vulnerable to destruction. They'll be much more able to be destroyed because they're all together in one place. That that will be successfully true in Jerusalem around the time of the third temple in operation. At this time, they can successfully be totally destroyed because they're all together, all in one place. That is what the anti-Israel people are being told. Is this a real is is this the real ultimate plan of Trump? The aim of the Davos meeting. The aim of the Davos meeting appears to be so. Islam, Islam specifically, have continued to aim for this Israel destruction. This has been the case since Israel regained global power in 1948. What Trump may be telling them, what Trump may be telling them now, will enable Islam, etc., to achieve what they want. Because of this ultimate plan of Islam, etc., and because Satan wants global control from the temple, yeah, so Satan, who is not on earth at the moment, he will be on the earth during the last 7 years, but he's not on the earth now. But he, but high above the earth, he Satan will want global control from the, and he'll want it. He'll want to do it from the temple. They will allow Israel to build the third temple. So Israel will be allowed to build the third temple. The Davos meeting plans has now enabled this. So we will probably see the Jewish third temple building growth fulfilled. So we'll soon see the Jewish third temple building growth fulfilled in every way in 2026. Is it really true that Islam plans will succeed and they will be able to remove all the Jews? Of course not. No, that will never happen. Would the global anti Israel world ever be able to destroy the whole of Israel after the third temple is built? Totally never. Remember, God will always intervene. God has continued throughout history to intervene. God's power always intervenes, and there's been massive interventions of God throughout time, and God will intervene. I now give you an illustration of I now give you an illustration of this. You now need to be aware of what the Bible tells us in Revelation about the whole of Israel being saved after the church has been taken to heaven. After the rapture, after the rapture, there will come a time when the two when the two greatest men of God will appear in Jerusalem. These are probably Moses and Elijah. We don't know for sure, but there's so much uh, told us in the Bible about Moses and Elijah, what's happened. So the two greatest men who have never fully died will appear again. We believe it's going to be Moses and Elijah, who were held undead in heaven at the time of the Old Testament. These two will then these two will then these two will then start a great Jewish revival. This will be a starting point of the Jewish temple starting to turn these people starting so this will be a starting point of the Jewish people starting to turn to Jesus. This will then lead to a very large number of 144,000 Jewish saints being saved. Now I'll use the word saints. Saints always means Israel, or the pop or the most the so 144,000. Or the word saints always refers to the greatest Jewish people, the greatest Jewish people. So 144,000 Jewish saints will be saved. These 144,000 will then massively preach Jesus' salvation to the whole of the world Jews who are now all living in Jerusalem. The whole of the whole of this latter Israel, the whole of this latter Israel will be saved. This will happen after the first 3.5 years have been completed after the rapture. I now discuss the evil plans gained from the world's global Davos meeting. The ultimate aim of Satan is to run the third temple himself as a place of his global power over all the earth. He wants to be worshipped there and control the third temple himself. The line build up of all this by Davos is to bring about this global time now in 2026. This is the plan of Davos. Will will the above be allowed to happen? This would only happen if God, Jesus, did not exist. It could only happen if God did not exist, but He does exist. Fact is, God, Jesus, do exist. Their power is here. The fact is that God will amazingly intervene. God will save, empower, and protect the Jewish people over the soon starting 7 years. The plan, the plans of Islam, etc., and Satan will fail. Could the expected Jerusalem earthquakes, etc., there are we are expecting earthquakes to happen in Jerusalem soon. Could these expected Jerusalem earthquakes mess up the plans of the planned Israel destruction? Whenever the earthquake happens, Israel will at this time always be protected by God. The earthquake will affect things greatly anyway. The, the destruction lasts the, the destructive last 3.5 years plans of Satan will fail, and the latter new glorious 1,000 years will then start. The glorious 1,000 years of Jesus will then start after a massive rebuild of everything by God. My blog started discussing everything soon after 2021 and before then. It then discussed the world's richest people and how powerful they are. I declared all of these things then in my suffering body, but I declared it more so from about 2022. The evidence of all this can now be seen in this year 2026. Please look at the following blogs which reveal all this very powerfully. We are now, which I will show you soon. We are now living in a time of mass evil, now becoming, now coming out of false churches. We're now living in a terrible time. Even the churches have messed up immensely. They're not preaching the truth anymore. We have now come, as the Bible says, a time will come when the time of the Gentiles will come to an end. We are now in the time when the time of the Gentiles is coming to an end. We are now living in a time of mass evil, now coming out of false churches. My blog of more than 520 pages on Last Days Watchman blog, all one word, Last Days Watchman blog dot wordpress.com slash. These reveal this reveals all this and many other things. My supernatural healing miracle, 1. 2. Creation versus evolution, and properly discovered 6,000 Earth years since creation. 3. Dinosaurs and dragons before flood. 4. Dinosaurs, dragons after flood. 5. Catholics, Babylon, Popes, Vatican. 6. Jesus came to earth 2,000 years ago to save us. 7. What happens to all people when they die? 8. Future purpose for the Jews Israel. 9. Hamas war with Israel in year Hamas war with Israel in year 2023. 10. Meaning of the word saints. Read the Jews. 11. Plans of Trump and Elon Musk. 12. Amir Savati and his great Bible discoveries. 13. From 2025, latest Trump USA presidency and all that was happening. 14. Euphrates River now drying up in 2025. 15. Pre-tribulation. Pre-tribulation. Oh. Pre-tribulation starting soon with 144,000 new Jewish Christians. 16. Older true Bibles now being replaced by bad ones. 17. Old New Testament, both de- both detail rapture as mentioned in Revelation. 17. I'll give that again. 17. Old New Testament, they both detail rapture as mentioned in Revelation. 18. New corrupt churches New corrupt churches have emerged since year 1990.